Thanks for joining us this week for another edition of UND Sports Extra. I'm Alex Heinert. The Big Sky basketball regular season is now in the home stretch, and North Dakota's men and women both have a conference title set in their sights. After a pair of wins last weekend, both teams had a chance to continue their spot in the pole position of their conference standings with a win over travel partner Northern Colorado. Let's go to the Betty, where it was senior day for Michaela Dyer, Sam Roscoe, and Leah Zabla. Those three would lead the charge from the start against the 12-3 Bears in a battle of the top two teams in the conference standings. UND led by just one in the opening quarter, but that's when Roscoe would heat up. Sam would score 10 of her 13 points in the first half, 7 of which in the second frame, to help the Fighting Hawks pull ahead by 8 at the break. That gap would expand to as many as 15 in the third quarter, and though UNC would fight back in the fourth, the lead would be too much to overcome. North Dakota earns the 75-68 victory and completes the season sweep over their rivals from Greeley. UND would control the glass in this one, out-rebounding the Bears 53-29 and holding them to just 6 of 29 shooting from behind the arc. Zabla would score 13 points, while Dyer would go for 17 with 11 boards to notch her first collegiate double-double in her final home game.
I was just talking to the other seniors, and that game was just kind of a blur. I mean, it's awesome getting to play in front of these fans. You don't get this anywhere in the country. We have some of the best fans here at the Betty, and it was just amazing to go out with the win in front of them.
The UND men were on the road on Saturday to face a Northern Colorado team that had pushed them to overtime in their first meeting in Grand Forks, and regulation would not be enough again this time around. North Dakota led for the majority of this contest, holding a 4-point advantage at the half and a 12-point lead early in the second, but UNC's Jordan Davis would score 13 of his game-high 30 points in the final 5 minutes to push the game to an extra period. The Bears took their first lead since the 17-16 mark of the first half in the opening moments of overtime, but a 6-0 run would put UND back in front for good, and they would earn a hard-fought 84-81 road win to stay on top of the Big Sky race. Cortez Seals would go for a season-high 23 points and 8 boards off the bench. He'd be one of 5 Hawks to hit double figures, including a 17-point performance from Connor Avance on 7 of 8 shooting. The win was UND's 6th in a row and caps off the program's first perfect February since 1995. While basketball has a week of regular season play remaining, North Dakota women's hockey is firmly in postseason mode. After finishing 4th place in conference, Brian Idalski's team had a chance to take on Ohio State in the first round of a best-of-3 WCHA quarterfinal. UND had gone 1-2-1 against the Buckeyes during the regular season, but had just beaten them at the Ralph the previous Saturday in the regular season finale. Amy Menke kept that momentum going early with the game's first goal in the first period, only to see OSU score twice on either side of the second intermission to build a 2-1 advantage. Jordan Hampton would score with just over 3 minutes left to push Game 1 into OT, but Lauren Boyle would score off a deflection just 2:05 into the extra frame to give the Buckeyes a 1-0 series lead, despite being outshot 33-14 in the contest. With their backs against the wall on Saturday, North Dakota would finally be able to take advantage of their superiority in shots on net, hitting for 4 goals against OSU to earn a vital Game 2 victory. Amy Menke would score for the 2nd game running and add 2 assists, while Lexi Shaw would concede just once on 18 shots in the 4-1 win. With the season on the line now for both teams, Sunday's Game 3 was a much more even contest, with Ohio State nearly equaling their shots on goal from the first 2 games of the series combined. Kayla Gardner would get the opening goal 14 minutes in, but OSU would hang tough throughout, nearly scoring in the second period, if not for an incredible diving save from defenseman Jordan Hampton. The Buckeyes would eventually make the breakthrough and tie the game midway through the third, sending this contest again to overtime. Unlike Friday's OT defeat, though, UND would find a way in the sudden death period this time around. 9 minutes into the extra frame, Emma Newtonen would drive to the net and score her 10th goal of the season to give UND the 2-1 victory and send the Fighting Hawks to their 7th straight WCHA Final Faceoff.
I mean, it was do or die today, really. It was the same way yesterday, so we kind of all just focused a little more. We're just kind of on our toes and just a little bit ahead.
We have struggled with Ohio these past 2 weekends, but we believe that we are going to win, and we did that.
We don't want our season to end, and especially in the first round of playoffs. We're just battling. It's a game we need to win, and I mean 6 more, and who knows.
What a finish at the Ralph. We'll talk about the dramatic series victory for North Dakota with head coach Brian Idalski after the break.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance and the University of North Dakota.
Welcome back. Well, North Dakota women's hockey pulled out a gritty 2-1 series win over Ohio State this weekend in the WCHA Quarterfinals, and you're joining us now to talk about it. Mitchell Idalski's father, Brian, congratulations on a great series win for you in the playoffs, your 7th straight trip to the WCHA Final Faceoff, and a state hockey championship in your family as well. About as good a weekend as it gets.
Yeah, it was awesome. Great atmosphere to watch my son be a part of something special, and then obviously our team gutting it out and winning a 3-game series in OT. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, this was an Ohio State team that you would just split with the weekends before you get them again, and what you said, kind of an NHL best-of-5 series. Yeah. This is a team that you had really outplayed and outshot. In each of your meetings this season, it was kind of more of the same, certainly in Game 1 on Friday.
Oh, absolutely. I thought we carried play. I thought we really dominated in a lot of phases, statistically in every phase, except the scoreboard, and that's what an elite goaltender can do for you. She definitely won them a hockey game on Friday night. Yeah,
big 2-1 overtime win for the Buckeyes. Saturday, a different story from Friday, where you similar shot differential, but you made it count with the big 4-1 win.
Yeah, Amy Menke really had a terrific game and was playing with a lot of energy and really just kind of put us on her shoulders and won us a hockey game offensively, made some nice plays, and able to pretty comfortably win that hockey game.
Yeah, Menke with the goal and 2 assists in that contest. So you push it to Game 3, a do-or-die type situation. You could really see the urgency out there for both teams, a much closer game from start to finish.
Yeah, that's why you never want to play a Game 3. Like, anything can happen. I really felt like we got a start that we wanted. We played with the lead. And then Ohio State with a big push with their season on the line in the third. And you could kind of tell once they got that one to tie it up, we really kind of tightened up when we're on our heels, and all the pressure was firmly on us. But luckily, intermission came at a pretty good time. We were able to take a breath, regroup, and I thought OT, we played really well and really deserved to win that one.
Yeah, and that was a phenomenal performance in goal from Lexi Shaw. From this group in total, and Emma Newton makes a great individual play at the end to push you guys and give you guys the series win.
Yeah, a lot of little plays during the game that kind of go unknown. Hampton sliding across to take away a sure goal. Kilpinen making a play on a 3-on-1, and then Emma puts on quite a show to finish it off with the OT goal. That was a great individual effort, and you're right, Lexi Shaw was terrific and really the reason we had a chance to win that game. I thought she was outstanding.
Yeah, the 2-1 overtime win sends you to Minneapolis again for the 7th straight season. I know that semifinals in this conference have become the norm for your program, but this was special. This had to have been a special victory for you and this team.
I mean, you think about all the younger players that we have that go through that and face that adversity and win an OT and know that you can, and that builds a group up. That helps a group for the future. I really understand the impact of that win on our younger kids for next year, 2 years from now, and having that experience and knowing that they can go through that and gut it out and do what they need to do. So that was a big win. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, special sudden death overtime victory to push you to Ritter Arena. Now you get to take on the #1 team in America in Wisconsin, and a team that you've had success against this season. A couple of very tight games over the course of the 4 games that you played during the regular season, including 2 one-goal games the last time you saw them. What's it going to take now to transition some of the success you've had against them and pick up a huge win in this semifinal?
Well, actually, I think this game, first of all, we're looking forward to it. We really enjoy playing Wisconsin. There's a healthy amount of disdain for them as a club. And so first of all, we're looking forward to that. Second of all, there's no pressure on us. They're the #1 team in the country. They're the ones that need to put on a show. And I think we kind of relish that opportunity to compete against them and play. So we're looking forward to it. We have competed hard, we have played well, and we're confident we can win a hockey game.
Yeah, in terms of matchup-wise, it does feel like you match up against this team well, despite the fact they've got an All-American goaltender, a lot of great skill moving forward. Where do you think you maybe have an advantage in this game?
Well, I really think we defend well, and if we can defend well, play with a lead, like I said, the pressure's on them to do something. If we can keep them to the outside, if we can limit quality shots in the middle, play with a lead, I know what that felt like because that was us last week. It's, how long is this going to go? How long before we get one? We need to get one, and that's a lot of pressure on your kids. And so we're looking forward to it. I think if we get good goaltending, we defend well, power play keeps up, we're going to give ourselves a chance.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Saturday at 2 o'clock in Ritter Arena in Minneapolis. Coach will be watching. Best of luck.
Thanks a lot.
When we come back, we go from hockey to hoops. Brian Jones joins us in studio. North Dakota men's basketball picked up their 13th win in the Big Sky Conference this past weekend, the most since the UND team joined the Big Sky. And joining us now to talk about that, the 11-year head coach, Brian Jones. Brian, a great victory for your team. Again, the Bears never make it easy for you, but you pull out a huge win over your rivals to stay atop the Big Sky race.
Yeah, it was definitely a struggle, but give a lot of credit to their staff and their players. They always play hard. They always have against us. I think it goes back to the NCC days, just the familiarity with the programs, but I was proud of our guys. We got out of the gates pretty strong. We really defended well. Probably on offense, we didn't have great shot selection early in the game, but man, as the game wore on, I was really through foul trouble. Again, different strange lineups. Our guys were able to just find a way to win. It's not always pretty, but to me, that's a mark of a good team when they can find ways to win when it doesn't always probably map out the way you want it to.
This was a game that you really led almost from the start. You led for 38 minutes in this contest. You controlled the game. They always seem to find a way to keep you from getting too much separation. They never really let you comfortable in this contest.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they have a really good guard and really nice pieces around them. I think they, just because I know I've said it time and time again, they play like their hair's on fire. They play so hard, and when you play that hard, good things are going to happen for you. I think we played hard as well, but we had some miscues down the stretch and a couple missed foul shots here and there. But they were just able to capitalize on some shots and get it to overtime, and then even get a 4-point lead in overtime. But then that's where I felt our guys really had a great poise about them and found a way in the last probably 3.5 minutes of that game.
Yeah, you really showed great resiliency down the stretch. In this contest, you weren't aided by 3-point shooting, just 1 of 12 from behind the arc, but you offset that with really good play inside, 40 points in the paint. On a night when you weren't seeing that outside shot fall, you could tell just a different mindset from your guys to try and attack the rim.
Well, that was a key going into the game. We knew we had to try to establish the post. Connor, Carson, Drick even, for the most part, we felt we needed to get back to that. We had a couple games due to some matchups, probably not in our favor. We were a little bit more perimeter oriented, but when we've been our best, we've had a good 1-2 punch, meaning post touches and then paint touches and paint kick out threes. Those all go together to help you get really high quality shots. We didn't shoot the ball well from 3, as you mentioned, but we made timely foul shots, and we were able to get the ball inside, and then we were able to finish at the rim as well with our guards.
Yeah, big 84-81 overtime win. 3-0 now in overtime games this season. Getting used to being able to pull out these close games down the stretch, that's got to only help you now with conference tournament play just around the corner.
It does, and as we all know, it's this conference tournament is going to be anyone's game. I really feel that because we're all pretty equal. Obviously, we've had 3 overtime games to beat a variety of opponents, not always the top echelon guys as far as the records are concerned, but that's what March Madness is all about. That's why I love it, and that's why it's the best time of the year, because it's you got one shot, and hopefully the teams that are able to capitalize on that, the ones that have gone through the fires of what we were talking about.
Yeah, you mentioned the conference tournament, still 2 weeks away. You got 1 week left of regular season play. You get to come back home. You haven't had a home game in about 3 weeks or so. You get to play Portland State and Sac State, 2 teams that you saw back at the end of December. It feels like an age ago when you played these 2 teams nearly 2 months ago. You need just 1 win to lock up a regular season championship, but you'd certainly love to get a couple of W's and carry that momentum going into the tournament.
We would. Obviously, they're both going to be extremely difficult. One, they're just 2 different types of team. Sac State is a huge team. They really throw the ball inside and demand post touches. Where Portland State really, they took it to us in their opening. I mean, it was so long ago. It was like we've never even played them. It was so long ago. But Portland State, extremely athletic, play fast, so contrasting styles. So we got to be able to honestly just be ourselves and do what we do, and that allow this moment to get the best of us, because it is a big moment for our program. Obviously, a chance to win the first ever Division I conference title. Those are great things. And I think these kids have earned it, but a lot of work is going into it. But the main thing they've done, they've always just kept their eyes on the prize and never allowed the obstacles to get the best of them.
Yeah, well, a great chance to come out and support this team. Their last 2 home games of the season on Thursday and Saturday, Coach. A great opportunity for you and the club. Best of luck to finish the season strong.
Thank you.
Brian Jones. When we come back, a little more UND hoops on the way as Travis Brewster from UND Women's Basketball stops by the studio. North Dakota women's basketball finished out their regular season home portion of their schedule in style. A big 75-68 win over Northern Colorado. Travis Brewster and company still atop the Big Sky standings. Another big performance against the team that was right behind you in those conference standings. Big win.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those games that I thought the team did a nice job, and, you know, it was a little bit of pressure there, so that was kind of exciting for them, and be able to have that game and play. Of course, it went down to the wire, but it was fun.
Yeah, let's talk about this one. It felt like they started off hotter than you a little bit in that first quarter. Yep. Kids hitting outside shots. Still had a 1-point advantage going into the second. That's when it felt like you really started playing your brand of basketball in that second frame.
Yeah, and we talked about that all week. You know, when you're playing a team that shoots as many as threes as they do and they knock down shots, you can't get too rattled out there. You got to continue to stick to what we tried to do with them the first time. And I thought the team did a nice job of that. We really started moving the ball a little bit, got it inside, got it outside, got some transition points, so it gave us a really good opportunity. But the biggest key for us, we cooled them off defensively, you know, and that's hard to do. They got some pretty prolific scorers.
Yeah, that really seemed to be the difference as this one went along. You led by 8 at the half. You pushed that lead to 13 in the third quarter, and you said that defensive effort was there. The rebounding edge was incredible. 24-board advantage throughout this game. That really ended up being the difference in this contest.
Well, it's huge because it gives yourself an extra opportunity. It also ends your runs. And I just thought the reason we had that, though, is because Samantha Roscoe, Fallon Friedrich, and Lexi Clavel have been pretty solid in that category all year long, without a question. But then you start getting a lift from Michaela Dyer, who gets a double-double out of the situation. You know, the rest of our guards, I thought, did a nice job of crashing the glass as well. When you do that, you can create some separation.
Yeah, this is a good Bears team. Obviously, they hung with you down the stretch, but you still kept that lead about 7 double digits, kind of in that range. You finished out with the 75-68 victory. Just like you'd expect on senior night, your seniors really did lead the way in this one.
Yeah, you know, you kind of start looking at them like, okay, when are you guys going to take over, gang? Let's do this. And we talked about, too, you know, it's going to be an emotional game, but the key is, can you keep your emotions in check? You know, can you utilize your emotions to your advantage while you play? And I thought they did that. 17 and 11 for Michaela, as you mentioned, her first collegiate double-double. 13 points for Leah Zabler, 13 for Sam Roscoe, or 14 for Roscoe, excuse me. 19 and 8 now on the season. You improved to 14 and 2 in conference. And this has all been through a lot of home success. 8 and 1 at home during the conference season. You got to play in front of 2,500 fans at home. That pushed your total season attendance at home to 25,000. So what does it mean to play in front of this team? You can tell how much this crowd really makes your team step up their game. Well, I think the big thing is that they enjoy playing in front of them. You know, they want to put on a show, so they come back and bring a friend. You know, and it's just tremendous to have that support. You know, we've been fortunate to have that support for many, many years. You know, and our players take a lot of pride in being able to step on the floor and say, hey, you know, we want to do something for you. And it's just great for the seniors, too, to have that type of crowd, you know, and to be able to play in front of them. But for some of our players, it was a whole new experience to play in front of that many people at home, you know. And I'm pretty excited about this group, and I'm excited that our fans got to see, you know, a team that's really putting it all out there. It's not always the prettiest thing, but they take care of business, and we try to do the right thing for our fans.
Yeah, it's certainly been effective. Pretty or not, it's been great this season as far as wins and losses. You now get a chance to go on the road here to finish out the regular season. You've already locked up at least, at no worse, a 2 seed in this conference tournament. But you'd love, obviously, that top seed. Portland State, Sacramento State, 2 teams with losing records, but certainly tough places to go play and a tough road trip coming up.
Well, 2 different distinct styles. Both like to get up and down the floor. One's more of a 2-3 zone, traditional, and get up and down the floor, and the other one's, you know, it's going to be line changes as we're all used to here, and really try to be helter-skelter. So, again, it's going to be us being able to adapt and then make them adapt to us. And so that's going to take a little bit of work. We've been practicing here. We got to be sharp. You know, practice is a little bit different at this time of the year. They're not as long. It's not much body on body. It's more about getting recovery. It's about getting the reps in. So, you know, we got to get that scout through to our players as quick as we can, the best way we can, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. How important would it be for this team to finish out the season strong and earn your second conference championship in the last 4 years?
Well, to get the programs, second conference championship to Big Sky, it's a pretty big deal, but at the same time, I'm more excited about the group because we came a long ways. It's not been the easiest this season at all. I'm not going to even try to mince my words on that. And they've, that process is a tough thing nowadays for people to understand because you always want that result. But you can't get results without doing process, so you have to put in the work, and that's something we talk about a lot in our program. And we talk about being able to find success, and you have to earn it.
Yeah, well, you've certainly done so on both accounts this year. Great success, and you've earned it certainly all across the board. Best of luck this week, Coach. Safe travels out there. You're going right from the West Coast to Reno.
Yep. Just a long bonding tour for us all.
Well, we hope it's a good bonding tour for you.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks again for the time, bro. Best of luck.
Yep, thanks for all you do.
Back in a moment to wrap things up here on UND Sports Extra. Stay with us.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance and the University of North Dakota.
It's crunch time in the winter sports season, and there's no shortage of big games coming up this week around UND athletics. Conference titles are within reach for UND basketball, with the women in action Wednesday and Friday on the West Coast, and the men at home on Thursday and Saturday. It's also the regular season finale for men's hockey as well, as Bradbury's side is in Oxford for a key series against Miami with a home ice spot in the NCHC playoffs on the line. Women's hockey again is in Minneapolis in the semis of the WCHA Final Faceoff against Wisconsin, with the win putting them in the title game on Sunday. And finally, softball, hoping to continue their strong start to the season in South Carolina with 5 games at the Coastal Carolina Tournament. As always, we'll get you caught up on everything going on in UND athletics next week on UND Sports Extra. Until then, I'm Alex Heinert. Thanks for watching.